Josh Allen broke his nose, put back in place, and played.
You gonna break my nose?
Oh my God.
I don't hear anything about Joe Flacco. You know why?
I do.
You do? What you hear? Yo, welcome to Outta Pocket with RG3, hosted by your boy and the lovely, amazing 81-time All-American Grete Griffin. Now that's supermodel Grete Griffin to y'all now, but we'll talk about that later in the episode. Go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's right, take the mouse, move it on over, and click. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you leave us a comment letting us know what you want us to talk about next and who you want us to bring on the show, and we will make sure it happens. If you love sports, if you love talking about sports, and you love having a good time talking about sports, go ahead and join our huddle. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and like and subscribe there as well. And let's get this party rolling. We got the freshest takes, the freshest news, and we promise to always do right by you, our viewers, and the athletes that we cover. So, baby, what we got?
We got the opening drive. The Kansas City Chiefs are 0-2 for the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career. Where do you think the Chiefs need to go from here? What do they need to do? Is it time to panic?
I don't think it's time to panic, but the Kansas City Chiefs are in trouble. They are in trouble if they do not revamp their offense and find a new identity. Now, what do I mean by that? When you watch the first 2 weeks of the season, first game against the Los Angeles Chargers and their second game against the Philadelphia Eagles, both close losses. But what I identified when I watched the tape is everybody on the field is covered. It's almost as if the defenses know exactly what the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid are going to run on every single snap. And to be quite honest with you, it's felt like that for a few years now. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs have been very successful, going to multiple Super Bowls, had an opportunity to three-peat, but now they're down their first number one wide receiver in Rashee Rice. They're down their number two wide receiver in Xavier Worthy. And the thing about it is, both of those guys are young. So now they're walking out there with Marquise Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton, Juju Smith-Schuster, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, and teams are all over it. So when I say they need to revamp their offense, what is the one thing that the Kansas City Chiefs have always done well since Patrick Mahomes has been there? Any guesses, baby?
Run the ball.
They run the ball really well in the playoffs. But the answer to that question is the Kansas City Chiefs have always executed the 2-minute drill at a high level. It's why they've won a lot of their close games. It's why they've won those tough matchups against the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. So what I believe the Kansas City Chiefs need to do is they need to go into hyper turbo mode. That means run the no huddle. What does it do? Patrick Mahomes is now at a point in his career where he can process quickly at the line of scrimmage and diagnose what the defense is doing. But now they're going to be going up against the New York Giants next week. Yes, the same New York Giants that gave up 40 points to the Dallas Cowboys. But guess what? That New York Giants defensive front has what feels like 1,000 first-round picks on it. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Banks, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence. These guys are phenomenal. So what do you do to that? You try to tire them out. There's two ways you can tire out a defensive front. One is to keep them on the field for 15 plus play drives where you're nickeling and diming them all the way down the field consistently. But everyone in the NFL knows that is very difficult to do drive after drive after drive. The second thing you can do is you can tempo them. Get into that 2-minute hurry up offense. Maybe they go 2 tight end sets, 12 personnel, where they've got Noah Gray and Travis Kelce on the field at the same time. And because they're missing their top 2 receivers, they can utilize the mismatches that they get from having 2 tight ends on the field to get their tight ends open and to force one-on-one matchups on the outside for their wide receivers. But really, that tempo is something that Patrick Mahomes was always comfortable with at Texas Tech when he was coming out of college. It's something that he's always been comfortable with when he is going late in games and having all these miraculous comebacks. But what I do know is going slow and being predictable is never a recipe for success in the NFL. go to the no huddle. And if you're not going to no huddle, go to establishing the run game as your primary weapon right now until you get fully healthy. How do you get pass rushers to not rush the passer? You force them to play the run. You got two big backs that run violently in Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. Lean on those guys. Lean on your up-tempo offense that Patrick Mahomes has full control at the line of scrimmage and can call the plays that he wants, that he sees from what the defense is giving him. It forces the defense to play more simplified. It forces you as an offense to be more simplified, but to execute at a much higher level. If people know the plays and there's nobody open on the field, Patrick Mahomes can't work his magic. Right now, he's been their leading rusher for the first 2 games. And he's not a guy that loves to run early in the season. Why is that? Because the offense isn't working. They got to find their new identity. Because yes, Mahomes is smarter and he's evolved. Travis Kelce has gotten older. And you don't have your top 2 wideouts right now. They got to find a new identity for these next couple weeks. Otherwise, they're going to be looking at an uphill climb to even make the playoffs. I believe they get it done, but they got to make those changes up on the offensive side of the ball.
All right, let's throw up our Heisman graphic for this week and give us a Heisman race update, baby.
Yes. We got the Heisman list up on the screen now. And what you'll notice is we have a new leader in the clubhouse at the top of the Heisman race. Yes. No, it's not me. It's not me. But it's a man that goes to Texas A&M, their quarterback, Marcel Reed. When you talk about a guy that can get it all done through the air and with his arms, just ask Notre Dame. Because the number 16 Aggies upset the number 8 Notre Dame Fighting Irish on a game-winning drive led by Marcel Reed. It was looking down and out, but then he threw a game-winning touchdown to put them in the lead with 13 seconds left in the game. And look at what this young man has done over the first part of the season, first 3 games. First game, 289 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Second game, 220 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. In his third game, in the biggest moment when they needed him early in the season, 360 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. That's not even counting the amount of rushing yards that he's had. He's doing it every which way. And he's got the Texas A&M Aggies and everybody over there in College Station feeling like, hey, man, this might be our year to win a national championship. Go on with your bad self, Marcel Reed. Then you'll see... Then you'll see at number 2, we got Miami with Carson Beck, their quarterback. Listen, they got 2 top 25 wins against South Florida. Who's the other team they played? Notre Dame? I think it was Notre Dame. So that's why he's sitting there at number 2. Number 3, I got Thomas Castellanos from FSU. They were on a bye week, so he gets to sit there. Number 4, we got Sawyer Robertson from Baylor University. Listen, I think he's second in the country in passing yards. He had a little bit of a rough game against Samford. They ended up winning 42-7. He threw for 211 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he also had 2 interceptions. But this guy has 2 back-to-back 400-yard passing games this year. Number 5, I got Bayron Morton from Texas Tech. That's right, them boys out in Lubbock. Yeah, they paid a lot of money for their roster, but their quarterback is balling right now. 464 yards and 4 touchdowns as they literally steamrolled the Oregon State Beavers.
They beat the Beavers up.
What? All right, so then after that, we got a guy by the name of Gunnar Stockton, the quarterback at Georgia. And let me tell y'all, this guy has some Stetson Bennett in him. Remember when Georgia was like winning national championships, the 2 that they won back to back? They had a guy at quarterback, a little undersized, but he could get out in the open field and get jiggy with it a little bit. We're using his legs to run around. He had the moxie and the confidence to bring his team back when they were down late in games. Man, that sounds like Gunnar Stockton. This man went out there and brought his team back throwing a touchdown to London Humphreys, which is one of the prettiest throws I've ever seen. It had a full slide of the protection, rolled away from the blitz, threw the ball picture perfect into the corner of the end zone for where only his receiver can make a play on it, then came back on a 2-point conversion to tie the game and send them into overtime. Gunnar Stockton should be on every single analyst and pundit's Heisman list this week. I don't care where he's at. He could be number 27. He could be number 3, number 5, number 9. He needs to be on the list one way or another. Another guy that I had on the list here is Texas A&M wide receiver Mario Carver. He leads the country in receiving yards, so it's only right that he's on there. We got Ohio State wide receiver Jeremiah Smith. He's come on a lot in the last 2 games. He had 6 catches for 163 yards this past week against Ohio. And then Oklahoma fans, you can calm down. I got your man John Mateer on the list because he actually is playing better than what a lot of his numbers say. And they also have that big win over Michigan. And then rounding out the top 10, I've got Utah quarterback Devin Dampierre. He's got 7 total touchdowns this year through the air and nearly 200 yards rushing. Quietly, Utah looks like they might have found their dual threat guy that can help them compete in some of these bigger matchups they're going to have going into the latter part of the year. So those are my Heisman front runners right now. What we got next, baby?
All right, here are some of our biggest concerns in college football from the past weekend. And our first one is Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns.
Ooh-wee. Okay, listen, I know Arch Manning haters are extremely loud right now. He struggled against Ohio State, came back the following week against San Jose State, and had a decent game, but some of those same struggles popped up. And boy, oh boy, Lord have mercy, this last week, Arch Manning really looked like a quarterback who has the yips. The question is, how does Steve Sarkisian get him back on track? I think if you're Texas, you have to assess the situation for what it is. Right now, Arch Manning is making easy throws look really, really hard. So you're going to have to take it a little bit off of his shoulders and put it on the shoulders of your running backs. Get into your running game. Instead of running maybe some of the more difficult RPOs or pushing the ball deep down the field in play action, you need Arch Manning to get back in rhythm. So I'm going to full progression throws where he has to read with his feet. We're going 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, no matter what the coverage is. Why do I say do that? Because right now he's out of rhythm. His throwing mechanics look off. I've heard a lot of people say it looks like he might have a shoulder injury. If Texas hasn't confirmed that, we can't go with that. But what his motion does look like, it looks a lot different than it did last year. And his feet don't look as active or in sync with his arm as they did last year. In that case, do what he does best right now. Right now, he is running the football extremely effectively. Shift your offense from a 3-level play action, throwing the ball down the field offense to a pure progression passing, simple RPOs, right? The play action slant over the top if the linebackers come down. The bubble screens out to the sideline if it's a number count and they don't cover down on the slot receiver, and allow him to run the football. Think of him more as a Tim Tebow-like quarterback as you get him back into rhythm by allowing him to run and have those simple pure progression reads and those simple RPOs, so that once he gets back into the feel of it and everything is gelling again, now when you go to the 3-level throws, he's on it. But for right now, it does feel like Arch Manning has the yips. And as a coach, you have to be able to see that, address it, and adjust. So I look forward to seeing Steve Sarkisian adjust and allow Arch Manning to do what he's doing best right now, which is being a dynamic threat with his legs, who can give you a couple throws here and there. No more games of him throwing the football 35 times. 20 throws. Give him 20 throws and about 10 QB-driven runs, and I promise you Arch Manning will get back on track. What's next?
DJ Lagway and the Florida Gators. DJ threw 5 interceptions in their past game. Tell me about that game. Why did that happen?
Yeah. DJ Lagway and the Florida Gators lost to LSU, a big-time matchup, 2 ranked opponents. DJ's a friend of the show. And to be quite frank, we think very highly of DJ.
Very.
Great young man, great head on his shoulders. He's very young. And I watched him he had a play where you do everything wrong. Like you run backwards, you go the other way, and then he flung it up towards the sideline where it looked like he was trying to throw the ball away, but he didn't get enough on it, or he was throwing it to the receiver and he should have thrown it there, and it got picked off. And that was his 5th interception of the night. So when I look at DJ Lagway, This is a young man who threw 9 touchdown passes in one game in high school. I don't think I threw 9 touchdown passes in any 3-game stretch in high school. So I know that the level of competition in the SEC is much higher. But when you bring a young quarterback in and the game after he throws 5 picks, you don't get shy as a play caller. You have to be more intentional. So Billy Napier and his staff have to figure out, okay, this is what DJ is struggling with right now. It's not that he has the yips like Arch Manning, where he's just making easy throws look difficult. It's processing. It's reading the defense. It's getting the ball to the right person at the right time. It's using your legs when the moment calls for it. And I've seen this a lot in college football this year. A lot of quarterbacks that are dual threat guys are trying to play quarterback instead of just playing football. DJ Lagway needs to just play football. This is a big 6'5", 240-pound quarterback who's got some gas when he runs. Use your legs, DJ. If the moment calls for it, get out of the pocket and go get the first down with your legs. As a coaching staff, you guys have extreme talent around him, but you can't have him back there, dropping back to pass with not great protection and guys not getting open. So create opportunities with the quick game, with the RPO game. I know he can throw the ball a country mile, but he doesn't have to throw the ball a country mile every single play. Play smarter. Get him in rhythm early in games. Allow him to see the ball completed, move the pocket, play action pass, boots and keepers, nakeds, quarterback-driven run. Florida has to diversify their bonds in their play calling and not get spoiled by the fact that when you watch DJ Lagway throw a football or practice, that he can throw a penny off the top of a bottle cap. He can, but that doesn't mean that that's what you're supposed to do every single play. Allow him to be more high percentage. You don't have to simplify things, but Florida needs better play calling because there's no way they should be ruining a 5-star quarterback the caliber of DJ Lagway. What we got next, baby?
Deion Sanders and Colorado Buffaloes. I kind of have the same question about them that I did about the Chiefs. Is it time to panic? What do you think is going on in Colorado?
Well, this is the deep route. The deep route. So I'm going all the way in on this one because I don't think what's happening to Deion Sanders in Colorado has to do with football. I think it has to do with everything outside of football right now. And what I mean by that is I don't think it's time to panic. I do believe that Deion Sanders is a hell of a football coach. And I think right now, Colorado is on its journey of finding its identity without Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. But I also think Deion Sanders is in that same realm as a coach. Deion has never not coached his son. It's what got him into coaching. Pee-wee, middle school, junior high, high school, HBCU at Jackson State, all the way to Colorado. He doesn't know what it feels like to coach without Shedeur and Shiloh Sanders. Then you take the Travis Hunter of it all, a really legendary player who played both sides of the football, and he was your best receiver, dynamic playmaker with the ball in his hands, and he was also your best corner. So now Colorado doesn't have either of those. And they have a situation at quarterback where Ryan Staub is the guy that the coaches and the players trust, and he played really well against Delaware, but then he comes up and doesn't play good enough against Houston when they get blown out 36-20. But then you've got Caden Salter on the roster. You got Juju Lewis on the roster. And it just feels like they're in this journey of finding out who they are without the 2 guys that help bring them to the proverbial promised land. Because now Colorado fans expect to win.
Yeah.
They expect their team to go out there and win games. They expect their players to win awards. And right now, it doesn't feel like that's in the cards. But I think this is more of a holistic view of Colorado saying to themselves, who are we? Who are we going to be without Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter? Are we going to be a run-based team? Are we going to be a team that throws the ball 45 times a game? I think Pat Shurmur as an offensive coordinator is trying to figure that out in real time. And I don't know if they have enough time to figure it out this year. But the Big 12 is wide open. And if anybody, as a betting man, I put my money on anybody figured it out, it's Deion Sanders. Because he could have simply said, you know what, I've had enough. I've accomplished my goals. My son's drafted into the NFL. I got both my sons an opportunity in the NFL. We went and changed 2 programs. I'm out. I'm having health issues and I had cancer and they got that taken away. I'm gonna stop coaching. But he didn't do that. He came back. He came back to coach because he views every single kid on that team as his sons. And I got to tip my cap to him for that. Because I know a lot of people would have said, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
He didn't say that. So I think they figure it out. But I think it ultimately comes down to who do they want to be? Shadur and Travis gave them an out because they could hide a lot of other deficiencies on their roster. Now, those deficiencies are popping up and they got to figure out who they're going to be. I think they get it done. I just don't know if they'll get it done this year.
Deshaun Foster, the head coach of the UCLA Bruins, gets fired after starting the season 0-3 and in their latest game losing to New Mexico. Oh, what do you think of that firing, baby?
Yeah, listen, I know Deshaun Foster. Deshaun Foster is a good man. He's a good coach. But you can't lose to New Mexico and keep your job. And that's no shot at New Mexico. It's just to say, I believe New Mexico hadn't won against a Power 5 opponent in 37 years? I know I'm probably exaggerating, but the bottom line is for Deshaun Foster, I'm being told by people inside of UCLA's organization that the players are not happy. The players are not happy that Deshaun Foster got fired because they believe he actually cared about what was in their best interests. Okay? But let me tell you the type of coach that I think that UCLA should hire. First and foremost, UCLA is in the Big Ten now. They're not in the Pac-12. They're in the Big Ten. And they have to be able to bring in somebody who is going to make recruits want to come to UCLA, not because of their tradition, not because of their recent success, because there has been none, but a person that will make them say, you know what, I'd love to play for that guy. It's got to be someone who moves the needle. The second type of person that UCLA needs to hire is someone who is going to bring in a cutting edge offense. Why? Because right now UCLA's offense looks stale. It doesn't make a receiver in high school say, dang, I want to go play there because they're going to throw me the ball and we're gonna be high flying and attacking at all levels. There's no one that they've hired thus far that makes him come in and say, you know what, I want to go play defense for that guy. Not just because he's going to get me into the NFL, but because we're going to play a brand of football that's like our hair is on fire. And lastly, UCLA needs to hire a coach who is not afraid to make the athletes work hard. You see, in today's college football, too many people and too many coaches want to be friends with the players. Why do they want to be friends with them? Because, well, they're afraid if I'm too hard on them, they're going to transfer. If I'm too hard on them, they're going to ask for more money and then they're going to leave and they're just going to quit on me. And it's like, if you want to go the route of catering everything to the player, then you also have to demand greatness out of the player. But that takes a certain level of connection with the player and knowing who you are, that when you stand up in front of the mic and they ask you, hey, what is UCLA football all about? And you don't stutter. You don't get cold feet because you know what your identity is. You know what the identity of your program is going to be. And lastly, for UCLA, I'm also hearing that they're not really giving football team the resources that they need. Whether it be from a coaching salary standpoint, whether it be from an NIL standpoint, to be able to build that roster. If UCLA does not give whoever the next head coach is going to be, and I ain't talking about the interim, I'm talking about the next coach that comes in there that wants to lead the Bruins to the promised land. If they're not going to give that person the funds they need to compete in today's college football, any coach that takes that job would be stupid. So UCLA has to make a decision. Do we want to be a basketball school? Or do we want to be a football school? Because right now in America, football rules everything. And those young men that are on the team right now are devastated because the coach that they wanted is no longer there. But he was also, according to sources, allegedly not given the resources that he needed to help this team compete at the highest level.
Playing devil's advocate, would you take the job? If the UCLA Bruins offered you a head coaching job? It wouldn't be your first coaching offer. So I know you're not a coach, but would you take the job?
Call me. I'd take that job in a heartbeat. I just love motivating young men to be able to go out and accomplish their dreams. And building a team, there's nothing better than being on a team. Nothing. This is a team, right? Me and my wife doing a podcast together, having a blast. Why? Because we both know ball, but we also like to have a good time. Building a football team and winning as a football team, it's just something about that. So yeah, if they called, I'd pick up the phone. It wouldn't be my first head coaching offer, but it'd be something I'd be interested in.
Okay. All right, here are our biggest concerns from this past weekend in the NFL. And our number one is, in every episode, the Cleveland Browns.
Why are the Cleveland Browns in every episode?
Every episode.
Every episode, the Cleveland, they're 0-2. They got a 40-year-old quarterback in Joe Flacco. The Cleveland Browns have to start Dylan Gabriel, period. This is one of my biggest concerns because I just watched them. Week 1, they should have won the game, missed a field goal, right? That would have won them that football game near the end. But this week, they got absolutely dismantled by the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we all know the Baltimore Ravens have about a gazillion first-round picks on their defense. We know that they got one of the best quarterbacks in the galaxy in Lamar Jackson. And they literally couldn't stop anybody. And Joe Flacco did not look good this week. But here's the issue. It's not that Joe is 40 and it's not that Joe didn't look good this week. The problem is if they're not going to be competitive when they have this really tough first 6 games stretch to go into their season, then you might as well get what you can get out of Dylan Gabriel and see if he's the guy for the future. And then if he's not, then give Shedeur Sanders some shots. Because I know right now, if Shedeur Sanders was a starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns and they started the season 0-2, everybody would be blaming Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, facts.
They'd be on him like white on rice. But I don't hear anything about Joe Flacco. You know why?
I do.
You do? What'd you hear?
I'm not saying it.
I don't hear anything about Joe Flacco. You know why? Joe Flacco's a Super Bowl MVP. Joe Flacco's career is already set. Nothing is changing the narrative and the appreciation that everyone in Baltimore has for Joe Flacco. What we got next, baby?
Viral Spiral.
Oh.
Here's some clips that we picked out for you guys for this week. All right, one of the clips we have for you is Aiden Ross, who got a call midstream from a high-up individual, having him change his $1 million bet from Canelo to Crawford.
Ooh. I'm trying to figure out who made that call.
I know.
Hey, shit. Hey, Aiden, I don't know, bro. Whoever made that call for you, tell them to call us.
You gotta split that $1 million with them.
Oh, 100% split it with that guy because Terence Crawford went out there and did his thing. Hey, sometimes when you get that call, you just gotta, I don't even know why you're calling me, but I'm gonna trust you. Sometimes you gotta trust your gut. And when somebody tells you to change that $1 million bet, you better change that $1 million bet. Okay, about that buku money, baby.
You said buku money. Another clip we have for you is a fun fact from Japan, because Robert, if you don't know, was born in Japan.
Konnichiwa, yeah.
Spent 2.5 years in Japan.
Arigato.
Oh my God. So Japan has set a record of nearly 100,000 people who are aged over 100. Like,
what?
That is just so impressive.
You said 100,000 people over 100 years old?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
100,000 people who are aged over 100. They're over 100 years old.
I do have Japanese roots, as my wife so eloquently stated. So maybe we'll be 102,000 people.
Well, I'm not Japanese. I am white from Europe, so I will probably live like 71.
No, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm Japanese, and like,
I don't think it works that way.
I think
we are one.
We are one.
You guys seen the movie where the two people morph into one? The new movie? What's it called? Together. Oh,
Together.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Go check it out, and you will never be the same afterwards.
Facts.
All right, what we got next?
The entire country of Nepal appointed their prime minister via Discord.
What?
Yes, very, very impressive. And honestly, to show you, in my opinion, how far behind America is when it comes to the digital world. Because other countries, like in America, like when you go to college and you sign a scholarship, even when like I was recruited from Europe, they send you packets of scholarship papers via airmail, like via the airplane. So you get like 300 pages of scholarship papers to your home instead of being able to sign them online. Like that honestly blew my mind, because coming from a country of Estonia, we are such a digital, leading Europe in everything digital technology, just badass. So the fact that Nepal appointed their prime minister via Discord is just to show you where the future is headed. And I think that is super cool.
Wow. A shout out to them. Gen Z protesters finding a way to make their voices heard. All right, what we got next?
Josh Allen broke his nose mid-game, got it readjusted or put back in place, and then went and played for the rest of the game.
Hey, that's a bad man right there. He gonna break my nose. You gonna break my nose.
It's like some UFC fight we're talking about.
They tried to break his nose to get him out the game. He said, "Not so fast, my friend." Shout out to Lee Corso, and got back in the game. That's toughness right there. Yeah. That is toughness. That's almost like tearing your ACL and playing the last half of the season with no ligaments in your knee.
No, I don't think that's the same thing. No.
Okay. Well, Josh Allen, shout out to you. Continue to be the badass that you are. That's awesome. Hopefully your nose is okay. I'm sure you can get something done with that in the offseason. But yeah, ain't nothing keeping that man off the field.
At least you already got married, so he's good.
Yeah, she ain't gonna care about what his nose looks like now. Maybe she
I meant for the wedding photos and stuff. Like,
of course you focused on the photos. Of course you're focused on the photos. Here we go. What's up next?
Alabama, Ryan Williams, step back touchdown against Wisconsin. You guys need to watch that.
Oh, yes. Watch this. Oh, okay. When you watch this touchdown pass, we're gonna have the still image for you right here on the video. But he's gonna catch this pass on the sideline and hit him with a Reggie Bush step back, and then run it all the way down the sideline. Shout out to Ryan Williams. He was 17 years old last year, cooking SEC defenses. Now the man is 18 years old, still cooking Big Ten defenses at Wisconsin. Superstar player. As long as this man is playing at a high level, Alabama has a chance to beat anybody in the country. Yeah. Good God Almighty.
All right, this is a new segment we have for you guys called Out of Time Weekend Recap. Here comes the NFL.
All right, Out of Time Weekend Recap, starting with the Ravens beat the Cleveland Browns 41-17. Lamar Jackson threw 4 touchdowns and the Ravens defense scored twice. Joe Flacco looked cooked out there back in Baltimore with turnovers galore, but it was a statement bounce back win for the Ravens to go to 1-1.
Next, we got Bengals and Jaguars. Bengals beat the Jaguars 31-27. Now, Joe Burrow left hurt, and they said he has a turf toe that's going to require surgery, and he's going to be out for 3 months. But Jake Browning came in and saved the day. Jamar Chase went nuclear with 165 yards and a touchdown. And Cincy sneaks in late, and the Jags collapse when it was crunch time.
Then we got the Cowboys, who beat the New York Giants in overtime 40-37. Absolute thriller with 7 lead changes. Brendan Aubrey, the kicker, hit a 64-yarder late to tie the game, and then he brought it home with a 46-yard game winner in overtime. It was Dak versus Russ. That was an epic wild duel, but the Cowboys survived.
Lions beat the brakes off the Bears 52-21, and Chicago's defense was literally getting torched all day long. Now, Jared Goff threw 5 touchdowns, and 3 of them went to St. Brown. Detroit drops a 50-burger and makes a statement.
The Patriots beat the Miami Dolphins 33-27. Drake May delivered a poised playmaking all day long, and special teams was absolute chaos with return touchdowns by both teams. Mike Vrabel got his first win as the head coach of the New England Patriots, ending their Miami curse.
49ers beat the Saints 26-21. Mac Jones filled in for Purdy with 3 touchdowns. Rattler and Kamara kept it close, but mistakes were the doom of New Orleans. Niners stay perfect, and Saints stuck at 0-2.
The Buffalo Bills beat the New York Jets 30-10. James Cook ran wild with 132 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Buffalo's defense smothered Fields and Taylor, and the Bills cruised to 2-0, while the Jets are now searching for answers. We'll give you updates on what's up with Justin Fields and his potential concussion next week.
Seahawks beat the Steelers 31-17, and Sam Darnold bounced back with 2 touchdowns. A muffed kick recovery for a touchdown flipped the whole momentum of the game, and Seattle evens up. Pittsburgh crumbles to 0-2.
The Rams beat the Titans 33-19, despite Cam Ward having one of the best throws I've ever seen in my life back across his body. Matthew Stafford sliced up the defense with precision. The Rams receivers feasted on the Titans, and they had no answers. LA controls it wire to wire for a solid win.
Now, Colts beat the Broncos by 1 point, 29-28. And Daniel Jones had 316 passing yards and a heart-stopping finish to edge out Denver. Jonathan Taylor powered the ground game with 165 rushing yards to keep Indy balanced. Broncos nearly pulled it out, but Colts defense held it in the clutch.
The Arizona Cardinals beat the Carolina Panthers 27-22. Bryce Young threw for 328 yards and 3 touchdowns for the Panthers, and Tetairoa McMillan added a 100-yard receiving night. But Carolina hung on around early, but couldn't stop Arizona's offense when it mattered. The Cards take a tough one. Panthers leave some plays undone, and Kyler Murray is still scrambling.
Eagles beat the Chiefs 20-17. Philadelphia edged out Kansas City in a tightly contested Super Bowl rematch. Mahomes was limited, but Eagles leaned on Barkley's physical run game when drives stalled. A late stop and clock control secured the win for Philly.
And our Sunday night game, the Atlanta Falcons defeated the Minnesota Vikings 22-6. Oh my Lord, JJ McCarthy haters are loud right now because he threw 2 interceptions and only completed 50% of his passes and ended with a QBR of 6.2. But Atlanta Falcons are doing the dirty bird in Atlanta because Bijan Robinson had 22 carries for 143 yards. Right now at the running back position, it's Saquon Barkley and Bijan Robinson. The Falcons take the win.
Out of time, college football weekend recap.
Let's get to the upsets. Texas A&M upset number 8 Notre Dame 41-40. Marcel Reed was the hero, throwing the game-winning touchdown on 4th and goal with 13 seconds left. He finished with 397 total yards and 2 touchdowns, and A&M won a game against a ranked opponent on the road for the first time since 2014. Whew, and they did it in thrilling fashion.
Vanderbilt upsets number 11 South Carolina 31-7. Diego Pavia threw 2 touchdowns. The defense forced 4 turnovers, and Vanderbilt snapped a 16-game losing streak to the Gamecocks in dominating fashion on their way to the first 3-0 start since 2017.
Oh, but we're not done yet. Georgia Tech upset number 12 Clemson 24-21. Kicker Aiden Burr had ice in his veins as he drilled a 55-yard game winner at the buzzer, the longest of his career. But quarterback Haynes King of Georgia Tech chipped in a total of 314 yards to keep Tech within striking distance the whole game. For Georgia Tech, this is a program-shifting win that catapulted them back into the national conversation, while Clemson's dynasty looks shakier than ever.
Out of time, track and field weekend recap. Track and field is having their outdoor world championships that are being held in Tokyo, Japan. And one of our biggest stories right now is the 100 meters for men and women.
On the 100-meter side for the men, Oblique Seville from Jamaica upset the entire field running 9.77 to win the gold medal. Yes, he was 8th place last year at the Olympics, but he came to the World Championships with a different mind of focus. And 2nd place was Keishane Thompson, and in 3rd was the reigning Olympic champion, Noah Lyles.
Women's 100-meter, Melissa Jefferson Wooden takes the gold medal back to America with 10.61. She defeated the reigning Olympic champ Julian Alfred and also Shelly and Fraser Price, Sha'Carri Richardson, and I can literally keep going. So congratulations to Melissa. Also, Tara Davis Woodhall secures the long jump gold medal with a jump of 7.13, which Tara is also the reigning Olympic champion from last year. So congratulations to Tara. We cannot wait to see what Hunter does.
And then out of time boxing, Terence Crawford upset the man, the myth, the legend, Canelo Alvarez. And after winning his fight against Canelo, these are all the belts that Terence Crawford has. The ring, Lightweight Championship, the WO Lightweight Championship, the Ring Super Lightweight Championship, the WBA Super Lightweight Championship, the WBC Super Lightweight Championship, the IBF Super Lightweight Championship, the WO Super Lightweight Championship, the Ring Welterweight Championship, the WBA Welter Championship, the WBC Welter Championship, the IBF Welterweight Championship, the WO Welterweight Championship, the WBA Super Welterweight Championship, the Ring Super Middleweight Championship, the WBA Super Middleweight Championship, the WBC Super Middleweight Championship, the IBF Super Middleweight Championship, and the WO Super Middleweight Championship.
I thought at one point you started saying the WNBA.
No, we're no WNBA here. Terence Crawford is on the Mount Rushmore of boxing champions. He is the greatest fighter in the world today, the greatest pound for pound champion in the world today, and he reigns from Omaha, Nebraska. Shout out to Terence Crawford. We can't wait to get you on this show because greatness always deserves to be appreciated.
Hometown highlights. Let's talk about the game Robert called K-State versus Arizona.
K-State versus Arizona. Make it quick because I really want to get to her hometown highlights. It was a very weird game, one of the most chaotic games I've ever seen. K-State couldn't have played worse. Barry Sanders texted me in the middle of the game and said, "What is wrong with this K-State team? They look like they have some problems." And if Barry Sanders is saying that to you, you know you got some problems. But I had to watch it and call the game in real time. For me, Kansas State needs to get back to their true identity of getting into 12 and 13 personnel, multiple tight ends, go run the football, and make it a dogfight every single down. Because spreading it out right now, it might be good for the stats, but it's not good for winning. And they're sitting there at 1-3. So Arizona looked really, really good. They left a lot on the table because their offensive line had a lot of holding calls. And my partners, Jason Benetti and Alexa Landestoy, explained this at such a high level during the broadcast of how all of their penalties and their offensive line leading the country in the amount of sacks they give up, leading the country in the amount of penalties that they have is truly setting their offense back because Noah Fafita is a really special player at quarterback, and they've got a lot of great skill guys, and they were living in Kansas State territory, but they were kind of hurting themselves, which made the game much closer than it needed to be. This week, we will be calling the Michigan State at USC game in LA, and looking forward to that one because Jordan Maeva, the quarterback for USC, is playing at a high level, but so is Aiden Childs from Michigan State. So I love it when we get two quarterbacks going head-to-head because typically the one that plays the best is the team that's going to win, but both of these teams are undefeated and feeling good about themselves. So we'll see who comes out on top. But let's get to the hometown highlights for New York Fashion Week. Let's go.
If you guys were here last week or even the week before that, you might have seen me practice behind this couch, my little catwalk for New York Fashion Week that I had the absolute privilege and honor to walk for an Estonian clothing brand, Haru. It was my first time ever on a catwalk, hopefully not last. And I'm honestly so honored to have walked for an Estonian brand. That's where I'm from, that's where I grew up, and it's so near and dear to my heart. So here's a video of me walking Fashion Week. We walked for Runway 7 at Sony Hall on September 11th, and I wouldn't say it was a dream come true, but it was definitely a dream I didn't know I had that got realized. So amazing experience. Can't wait to do it again.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. And I was there. I was in 7 cities in 5 days. Because
Rob is the real MVP for taking time out of his busy schedule to come support my dreams and goals.
Nah, this is what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to be there for your loved ones. She's more than a loved one, right? She is my best friend. She is my rib, my better half. And listen, I had to do all my prep earlier in the week to be ready for the game on Friday, but it was worth it. I'd do it again because to watch her go do her thing, right? Because everything that she does is her thing. It might have been the first time she had been walking a runway, but it didn't look like it. When you watch that video, you're going to see someone who's super confident and who's going to be walking for many more brands coming up here in the future because she did it in such an elegant and beautiful way. So just want to say beyond proud of you. Excited to be your husband. And, one day, maybe that's what they say. Oh, that's Grete Griffin's husband. That's the goal, right? That should be the goal for every husband out there. Every wife, you want to be able to be there to lift up your spouse, to help them not just chase their dreams, but also fulfill dreams that they never knew they had. So proud of you, excited about the future, and I love you, baby.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Mwah. Well, that's going to do it for Out of Pocket with RG3 this week. Again, if you love sports and you love talking about sports and you love having a good time talking about sports, come on over here and join our huddle. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's right. What you waiting for? Go over there and click, 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 click. Like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about next and who you want us to bring on the show. We are honored to be here in front of you. We are honored to have you a part of our huddle as we get out of pocket every single week. So make sure you tune in. We'll be there with you on Out of Pocket with RG3 on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and right here on YouTube.